In synchronous time division multiplexing, we have seen here the concept of arrival of a data at a specific time instance as per individual channel. But if there is no data to be transmitted by individual channel, no data available, then that time slots will be completely wasted. So how this synchronism can be broken up, but still here the data can be arrived for by everybody. So this can be worked out into the next one, that is statistical time division multiplexing. And this statistical time division multiplexing is having one of the example they have been given, that is A, B, C, D, E. Means here they have given 5 different kinds of communication channels are there, and from these 5 different channel the data is getting transmitted. So look here into the first line what is given. In the first line, they have shown that the data is there for this A1 communication. Okay, for A channel, only in the first time instance, data is there to be transmitted. So this will be transmitted here. Now see my cursor. In the same time instance, B1 also have a data to be transmitted. According to the time slot of B1, B1 ka data will be given. In this same time instance, C don't have any data to be transmitted. So no worry, this slot will be engaged by the another channel. And see, D1 is having a data to be transmitted. So this slot will be engaged by D1. E1 also should have a data, na? But here it is not having any data. So this particular slot will be completely given to the next slot. So look here in the next time instance, B2 is having a data. So B2 is engaging. Then in next time instance, D2 and E2 is having, D2 and E2 is engaging. Do we have any blank slots here? Not at all. So this concept is called as the statistical time division multiplexing. The statistics will be maintained here for individual channel and its data availability, and depends on the availability of a data, only the channel will be utilized. Otherwise, the same time slots will be given to the next channel for transmission. This statistical TDM is improving here the speed of transmission. Obviously, because here there will be no loss of data. You can see in a minimum time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 5 channels are covering the data type, data to be transmitted into the available time duration. No time is wasted into the communication channel. So this is what one of the technique which we are having it into the statistical time division multiplexing. So we do discussed here into the TDM, time division multiplexing concept, sharing the channel according to the time slots for every particular communication line. 4 devices are there. So 4 number of channels will be allocated and slots will be given accordingly. Means what? 4 channels will be allocated the time slot in the single communication channel. Demultiplexing is decomposing that signal to the individual machine. Synchronous TDM I just discussed here. It is taking care of here the concept of data transmission by every channel in a sequential fashion, in a synchronism fashion, and everybody will be having a fixed slot. If they don't have a data, still their slot will be as it is. To avoid this problem, because in such a case, if nobody is having a data to transmit, then this complete time will get wasted. And in case if fourth instance is having the time to transmit, in the fourth instance time the data has to be transmitted, this whole time will get wasted and then the data will be transmitted. To avoid this issue, statistical TDM is there, and we have just discussed here about the time slots allocation depends on the availability of the data to the individual channel. The next one is spread spectrum. The idea behind the spread spectrum is here, whenever the data is transmitted among the channel, then here it may be the possibility of creating the frequency range according to the available channel and spreading the signal in the channel. So spread spectrum technique is basically here monitoring here the effect of the signal into the communication channel. Look here, This is what the original signal has been given, and this original signal is given according to the input of this particular signal. You can see the input has been given to the spreading process. Spread spectrum is the process which is basically interpreting the input signal and monitoring that signal into the communication channel. So here the spread code will be generated, and then that spread code which we are having, which is spreading here that particular input signal in this kind of way. We can observe here the original signal was like this way, but the output of this signal will be like this way. The purpose of this particular spread spectrum, basically according to the availability of a channel bandwidth, here the data will be transmitted into the channel. Spread spectrum into the wireless communication. In generally, these spread spectrum techniques are used for transmitting the data. In this case here, the two different types of spread spectrum techniques are there, FHSS and DSSS, frequency hopping spread spectrum and direct sequence spread spectrum. These two techniques can be there into this concept. In this spread spectrum technique, here the multiplexing is combining here multiple signals that we have been shown. So then here how the bandwidth will be utilized. We have seen from 3-4 channel the signal is combined and then you are transmitting it in the single communication channel. But that time how this single communication channel ka available bandwidth will be effectively useful. So therefore these spread spectrum we do have it, and we are combining here the signal from the different resources to fit into the larger bandwidth as well as the available bandwidth. This concept is generally designed for the wireless LAN and WAN, that is local area network and wide area network. In this application here, all stations uses the air medium for communication. In wireless LAN, the air is the media where we are communicating through different devices into the LAN. That time here, the station must be able to share the medium without any interception of the external signal. And the jamming of the network jamming, that concept also should be recovered into the network institution. So for getting this criteria here, the spread spectrum is used by adding the redundancy into the signal. So you can see here, see the original signal is there, but the signal is slightly expanded again here. So this means what? Extra signals are added into this case. And the bandwidth of the spread spectrum is very much greater than the bandwidth of your original signal. So the expansion of the bandwidth is there into the spread spectrum technique. So in this case here, why this expansion is expected? As we already discussed, for the successful transmission of a data in block coding, the redundancy is added. So the same concept into the wireless concept we are having. Here bandwidth will be expanded, and this particular bandwidth will be allocated to the each stations wherever it need to be for the larger distance by allowing here the redundancy into the network. So the first technique which we do have it, that is a frequency hopping spread spectrum. Here this FHSS is using M different carrier frequencies that are modulated by the source signal. And this original signal which is there will be given as an input to the modulator. And in that case, we have been mentioned that the bandwidth occupied by the source of these particular FHSS is very much greater than your original bandwidth. Here itself we are observing it is very much greater than the original one. So this concept has been used here also. This figure is showing here the layout of this FHSS which has been there, where the pseudo random code generator is there, and this pseudo random code generator is creating here the noise, or we can say here the k-bit pattern of the frequency. Means certain frequency ranges will be generated by this pseudo random code generator, and this frequency codes will be generated here. Depends on these frequency codes, here it will be recorded into the frequency table, and then that from that table here the concerned frequency will be picked up by the frequency synthesizer. The frequency synthesizers creates here the carrier signal of the frequency, and the source signal modulates that carrier signal. Okay, source signal modulates that signal, means what, whatever frequency is available in your channel, depends on that frequency range, the synthesizer will combine that kind of frequency ka carrier signal with your original signal into the media, and then create the sprayed signal which is having the high bandwidth. The concept is slightly designed with this kind of pattern code. The k-bit pattern code will be generated. For example, here, if you are having 3-bit frequency ranges are there, then 000, 001, 010, 11, 100, 101, 110, and 111. 3 means what? 2 raised to 3 k-bit pattern will be generated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 raised to 3 means what? 8. If I would have been here 4, then 2 raised to 4 means what? 16 such kind of frequency ranges would have been generated. Fine. So this is what the beat pattern will be generated by the pseudo random code generator, and the frequency ranges will be decided according to that beat pattern into the specific manner, into the ascending order. Suppose for example 200, 300, 400, etc, etc. So whenever the first beat is arrived, that time here you can see the 101 ka frequency range will be selected. Means what, the first hop of the frequency is 700 kilohertz. So this frequency will get hopped. Hopping means what? In a consecutive manner, the selection of the frequency will be done. And then here, this kind of hopping depends on the data bit pattern. Like after 101, 111 is there. So after 700, 900 kilohertz frequency will be utilized. If there are many k-bit patterns, we do have it, then here this hopping period will be very short, and the sender and the receiver can have here the privacy for identifying that particular data transmission through the transmission channel. In this case here, the particular hop is completed, and then how to go to the next hop, this kind of switching will be done by automatically by this particular frequency hopping spread spectrum concept itself only. And this scheme is also providing the anti-jamming effect, because the malicious sender may be able to send the noise to jam the signal for one hopping period randomly, but not for the whole period of a time, because whenever this hopping will get changed, the period of a time also will get fluctuated, and this particular hopping will be monitored against the time period. Every particular frequency range will get hopped for a certain time duration, and then cycles will be completed and randomly will be selected by the pseudo random generator. This way here the frequency hopping spread spectrum will be done. The next second method we do have it, that is direct sequence spread spectrum. Direct sequence spread spectrum technique also expands the bandwidth of the original signal, but the process is slightly different in this case. Here also you are having the original signal will be expanded, that is the spread, and the bandwidth will be increased. But instead of any pseudo random generator, here there is a concept of the chip generator. Chips generator. You mean to say that here each data bit with n number of bits will be spread to the certain n bit code, and that code will be expanded according to it. Here each bit is assigned a code of n bit, means individual bit will be assigned a code of n bit, means certain frame bits will be assigned to that, and that is called as a chip code. It is called as the chips, or it is called as the chip code. where this chip rate is n times that of the data bit. Obviously, if you are replacing bit 1 by 12 bit, so obviously it will be 12 times greater than individual bit. Whatever time you were requiring for 1 bit, now it will be required for 12 bit. So that issues may come into this particular criteria. So here this sequence is used into the wireless local area network. Again, the DSS is also used by the wireless LAN. And there is a concept of this famous Barker sequence where n is equal to 11 number of bits are generated for individual bit. This is the example of DSSS, where you can observe here bit 1 is replaced by the Barker sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Again, bit 0 also replaced by some sort of the beats again. Like this way, these individual beat pattern is replaced by such kind of 11 beat signal. And these signals are used based on the NRZ encoding, non-return to zero encoding. You can see this is the NRZ ka concept. High level is 1, zero level is negative polarity. And then in the result here, the multiplying of this both means when you will multiply the original signal with this one, the multiplication is giving you here the same signal. As you already discussed about the logical operations, whenever you are doing the logical and or logical or how the communication will be done, that the same criteria will be conducted here. Means when you will have a 1 and 1, 1, 1 and 0, 0, 1 and 1, 1, means logical and operation will be done into this case. Multiplication means what? Logical and operation. And such way here, the 11-bit chip code will be generated into the direct spread spectrum technique. And here the bandwidth also will be shared into the DSS, and this kind of concept is generally used into the cellular telephony also, into the wireless telephone networks. For that also this DSS is one of the best example which we do have it. So we just discussed about these two techniques, that is FHSS and DSSS. The purpose of spread spectrum we have been seen about. It is used in the wireless local area network or wide area network, where the signals are may interfere with the external signal, and to avoid that, the whatever this multiplexed channels which you do have it, you said that key multiple signals are combined in the single communication channel. Then how this single communication channel ka bandwidth will be utilized by all these sources. So that is what called as a spread spectrum concept, will be utilized by this FHSS concept, frequency hopping spread spectrum, where the modulation will be done with the help of the frequency synthesizer, where the synthesizing will be done based on the random generator of frequencies. The frequencies will be generated, which will be recorded into the frequency table like this way. And these various frequency ranges will be utilized by the transmission channel, and the data will be communicated. Direct spread spectrum technique, we have seen that in this case here, instead of frequency table, the chip code will be generated, that is chip generator, and individual bit is replaced by 11-bit code, and obviously then that much signal strength will be required. Now you were having only one signal, will be replaced by 11 different signal, so the bandwidth also will be more, and that means here the spread spectrum is created. And this chip code we are having it according to the Barker sequence. This one of the person Barker has been created this sequence. It has been implemented into the wireless media, and this modulation gives here the effective way of communication in this DSSS technique. See here the data rate management. We may have here one of the problem in the time division multiplexing for dealing with this input data rate for individual channel. So therefore then multiple these sources, how you will combine with the FDM, with the statistical or the synchronous technique. We do have the first technique, multi-level multiplexing. See the criteria. When you do have the multiple level of the sources are there, you mean to say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 different channels are there, but the frequency levels are different. That time here you people can have the two different multiplexing steps can be there, and then convert the same frequency into the all the slots. This multi-level frequency technique where you are using to combine two different source signals, and then here equalizing it with the another sources into the channel. So look here, 160 kbps data you are having. So this 160 kbps data, if suppose this 2020 ka two channel you do have it, combine it into the 40, then 40, 40, 40, 40, then this equal sources will be more easier for multiplexing. If these variations are there, then the single multiplexing communication will not be more effective. The second way is you are having multiple slot allocation. Exactly different. You may have a decomposition. Sometimes one source is of 50 kilobits per second and the other source is of 25. So sometimes the slots are not equal. One slot is more and the another slots are less. So how will you combine and then create the communication into the time division multiplexing? For that purpose here, you have to balance this input level. So this 50 kilohertz data rate will be identified and created with this decomposition of 25, 25. So you are decomposing here from 1, 2, 3, 4 channel to 5 channel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this way here, these 5 slots of equal 25 kilobits per second will be given to the another side. Pulse stuffing. Sometimes you don't have any exact source bandwidth of the specific channel. Then that time here, the sources which you do have it has to be balanced with the same capacity. And that can be balanced by increasing their rate. And this rate can be increased by the technique called as a pulse stuffing or beat padding or beat stuffing. You mean to say that you have a one channel of 50 kbps, another one is of 50 kbps, another one is just only 46 kbps. So how will you multiplex these three channels? It is not possible to multiplex in effective way. So add 4 bits into this 46 by pulse stuffing, make it 50 kilobits per second, and then combine these three sources to get the 150 kbps data into the multiplexing. So this implementation of a TDM has to be worked out while this synchronization of the data frames coming from these three different kinds of sources. And it is not that much easy also, it takes a time, and due to that here certain multiplexing has to be inbuilt. So this is the concept of your data rate management. How will you manage here the data rate level into the time division multiplexing? So this kind of separate question also can be there into the exam. How will you manage the data rate management into the time division multiplexing? Explain. So these three techniques you will have to explain along with this small diagram. Pulse stuffing, then you do have it here multiple slot allocation and multi-level multiplexing. These three techniques are there which is interpreting the adjustment of this particular source data. So in this chapter here we do have it the multiplexing ka definition you do have to write it, types you can specify, and any one multiplexing technique in detail you will have to write down. You mean to say that 1 mark for multiplexing definition and types, and then here you will have to draw the diagram also, conceptual diagram for multiplexing, and then any one point you will have to explain in detail with the diagram. So diagram will carry the another 2 marks, means 1 plus 2, and the explanation will carry 2 marks. So listen to it carefully, the weightage of the answers. Explain the following: FDM, WDM or TDM. This individual short note may be asked, depends, anyone can be asked accordingly. What is the concept of TDM? Explain in detail. If it is asked for 5 marks, then you will have to explain about the statistical and synchronous TDM concept also. But if you are briefing it in the your own way, still it is fine, because it will be too lengthy. Just discussing TDM, then synchronous, then statistical, it will be too lengthy. But anyway, you will have to at least brief about these two different topic points. Explain the strategies of the data rate management in multiplexing. Just now we have seen pulse stuffing, multi-level and multiple slot adjustment. What is a spread spectrum? You need to explain about that BSSS, that bandwidth of the spread spectrum is very much greater than the bandwidth of the original source. So that concept you will have to explain it for 1 mark. Then types you will have to explain it again into this case. And then just explain FHSS or DSSS for 4 marks. Concept of hopping in FHSS, then explain about that frequency table also, how the hopping and jumping from one frequency to the another frequency will be done by synthesizing. Synthesizer will allocate the frequency ranges according to the data bit pattern that you will have to explain. DSSS can be separately asked. Otherwise, these synchronous TDM and statistical TDM can be asked separately into the topic. Depends on the question here, the weightage of the answer has to be given. The scope of the answer will be decided.